All right, good morning and welcome back, everyone, to One American's Perspective. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus of about a month or so over this past Lent season from posting, not because I didn't want to, but because I was more in receive mode in terms of what I had been learning and what I had been seeing. And there's something that before I go any further with the production of this channel that I want to make sure that I make clear to the viewers, which is that while my perspective is limited to my own capacity in living in the country and the state and the time that I'm in, and from the experiences that I've had, I have come to grow in this last month or so, again in the Lent season, a deep growth in my spiritual faith in the Lord our Savior Jesus Christ. So, having said that, I want to make clear that that will, and likely always has been, at the absolute bedrock foundation of my perspective and of my opinion. And I want to ensure that I put that out there so as not to deceive or to undermine anyone who might be listening. To know forthrightly that that is that what forms the basis of the perspectives that I'm speaking in. Things will build on top of that in terms of my timeline, my lineage, my personal lineage, the country that I live in, the experiences that I have, but they're all founded on that. And I think my belief is that that bedrock is absolutely firm. So anything that, if we're careful in the application of that bedrock, in the continual building up of our own perspectives, then if we draw a conclusion from a sound premise, we're more likely to have a sound conclusion. So that being said, I understand that that might turn people off. The limited viewership that I have from wanting to hear that, and part of me understands that, because I think one of the unfortunate circumstances we find ourselves in as a country today is that we've somehow divorced ourselves from that bedrock, and therefore the conclusions we draw from an uncertain premise like that of our faith is therefore subject to being flimsy and blowing and ebbing and flowing with the wind. So I certainly understand that because of our society today. However, I would challenge you to not throw out necessarily the conclusions because the premise that you don't necessarily agree with at that time, but perhaps to challenge your own foundations, as I will continue to do. Because if your foundation is solid, nothing can penetrate it. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't attempt to ensure that it is in fact steadfast. So I wanted to say that out of love and respect for anybody who is watching this, and knowing that my perspective, because that foundation is in God and in Jesus, does not mean that my perspective is his perspective. Therefore, how could it be? I've spoken before about how when we try to encompass God, we ultimately fail because he's infinite and he's omniscient and omnipotent. Therefore, my perspective is, even if drawn from that bedrock that I talked about, and as I continue to attempt to build perspective in a sound and firm way, is subject to error, because I myself am an imperfect creature and am prone to error. And the intent of this channel is to try to wade through those errors in an attempt to build not just the substructure that has been built for us, but a house that is a community or the country or our own families, in an attempt to build a house in a way that's commensurate with how the structure was designed to support that house. So I will be continuing to talk about things a little bit more modern and perhaps unique although I'm not sure how unique they are to our times. They're certainly unique to us, having only lived in this earth for the short amount of time that we have. With that framework, through that lens, and I would ask that you reach out if you have anything you want to say to challenge or to support or to enhance some of those foundational principles with which I'm tuning the channel on. And if you decide to tune off completely, I can understand that. But again, I would challenge you not to. And if you do leave, know that I will mourn for you, not for losing the limited viewership that I have on this channel, but knowing that if you deny the Father above, you'll be susceptible to the woes of this world, and that is a sad thing. It's a truly sad thing to turn away from the way, the truth, the life that is Jesus. So, happy Easter to those of you. I'll attempt to put together some new material coming up after the Easter holiday. In the interim, God bless. I hope to speak with you all soon. Take care.